Okay, we are going to start. Please come in and you can move forward. You can move forward even to the middle row. Msikae mbali. We want to see everyone. There's someone hiding behind. Please come forward. I want to see everyone. We'll be starting in a few. If you're outside and you're coming to the GIZ session, we are starting now. And please move forward so that we start together. Please move forward. Okay. All right, welcome everyone to this breakout session. We'll be discussing the seed law, the myths, and the truths. So I want to hand over to the moderator, Sarge, to go right ahead and you introduce your panelists. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Salome Wonder. I'll be the moderator today. My job is to moderate and to remain as neutral as possible in this discussion. We will be talking about Seed and Plant Variety Act, and we'll be talking about miscommunication, misconceptions that exist, and how that really impacts our food systems and the implementation that we look forward to as partners, as organizations, as various stakeholders and actors. This is a side event that is organized by GIZ Kenya. We thank you very much, GIZ Kenya, for supporting this. And we have two panelists or debaters, because this is going to take a debate approach. So that is why we only have two people here today. And on my right side is Mr. Emmanuel Atamba, who is the senior advisor at TMG Research. And on my left is Mr. Daniel Wanjama, who is the coordinator of Seed Savers Network. I'll give them an opportunity to introduce themselves so that you get to know more about them before we go deep into the debate. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sally. Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel Atamba. I work with TMG Research. I oversee TMG Food Systems transformation work. I also work on agroecology. And I have a lot of interest in this debate. Just to preempt, because the moderator said it's going to be a debate, my opinion is that the Seed and Plant Varieties Act does not, in fact, criminalize the sharing of farmer seeds. And I'll be holding that position. Hopefully it is changed by my friend Wanjama by the end of this discussion. So looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my colleague Atamba. My name is Daniel Wanjama. I'm also, as mentioned here, the coordinator Seed Savers Network. And we are very grateful to GIZ welcoming us to this discussion because Seed Savers Network, founded 15 years ago locally, has been working on these issues of farmers' rights. And the main reason for existence of the Seed Savers Network is because of the problems that we have in our laws, that is specifically Seed and Plant Varieties Act. And therefore, I want to air what is the problem in the law, and perhaps Atamba will change his mind once by the time we are finishing this debate. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. So we know that food systems is not just about the food, it's about livelihoods, it's about the future that we are looking forward to, it's about what we want to leave behind for the children that we're bringing into this earth. It's about how we take care of the planet. And when we talk about the Seed and Plant Variety Act and the debate that we have today, you've heard about the legal perspective of it. But this debate is not just about legal. It's about equity, it's about power, it's about the food systems that we really look forward to having. It's about food security. It's about life and death. It's about what we really want to see. And today we are here to separate opinions from facts. And the only way we can do that is through evidence. And the evidence is in the law that we have, and I believe and I hope that we have read the Seed and Plant Variety Act and we really know what is in it. Before we start, we'd like to just have some rules, the ground rules that we are going to work with. One of them is we really need everyone to listen actively. We need each and everyone to respect each other's opinion. We hope that we will be able to avoid personal attacks and able to stick to time. Initially, we were having 90 minutes, but right now I think we have like 40 minutes to go. And now I want to now start with our two panelists or debaters, and just to confirm that both of you have read the Seed and Plant Variety Act, the whole of it. And now the question is, because you have said it doesn't criminalize the sharing of seeds, and you have a different opinion, we'd like to know which part of it, or what makes you think it criminalizes or it does not criminalize the sharing of seeds among farmers.
So you want me to start, eh? Yeah, you can start off. Okay, thank you. Yeah, for us as our organization, Seed Savers Network, in our view, Seed and Plant Varieties Act contradicts our constitution, because our constitution has elaborated in the Bill of Rights a lot of rights that should be enjoyed by Kenyan people, and in our view, the Seed and Plant Varieties Act contravenes this what is stated in the Constitution, and therefore our observation is that we have a problem with Seed and Plant Varieties Act because of the contravention of those rights. And the rights in our constitution are also universal. They are global. They are human rights declaration by the UN. So these are those are the perspective from which we look at some of the provisions of the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, like they contravenes farmers' rights, and farmers' rights are human rights. And part of the problem that we have in these laws is, for example, the process described in the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, the process of plant registration, the process of awarding plant breeders' rights or intellectual property rights for the plants. Maybe not everyone is aware of the way, if you want to register a variety, the process you need to follow. But that process, to cut the story short, describe the way you can own plant varieties and the way and in summary, the way you are supposed to own the plant varieties is described as discovery, like you are able to discover. And to me, I have a problem with especially that term, discover, because discover in this sense, it is, if I can give an example, is like the way Lake Victoria was discovered by Victoria. I don't want to call it Lake Victoria because it's a lake in Kisumu, was discovered by someone called Victoria, because this person came from UK. I think she might have found people swimming there if she came during the day. A lot of people were swimming there. I don't know whether they were naked or they were swimming in clothes, but people were swimming there. And because these people, a lot of people who are using this lake, using the water, they had not written about it. Like they had not documented the lake. So, because she is the first one to document it, then she discovered. And this is the same process that we have in our Seed and Plant Act, because what someone needs to do to register a variety in Kenya is to describe it and submit the descriptor to KEFIS, and also submit the sample of the seed. And if your sample agree with the descriptor you have developed, and it is compared with other descriptors submitted earlier, and there is proof that what has been submitted earlier does not match what you are submitting, then you are given the property rights of that particular variety. The problem is that there is no protection of farmers' varieties. I know farmers' varieties are not documented, they are not registered, they are not in the National Varieties Register, and therefore, when someone is given right to own what they have submitted, then they are not considering all the varieties that are not registered, and therefore you could potentially pick a farmer variety from farmers or even from the market and write about it, go apply for registration, and you are able to own it. And this is not just hot air, something that has not happened. We have investigated instances where someone has, especially which is also documented and is online, someone has taken farmer's variety, especially of buffalo grass. That is the case we have documented in Baringo. And this person attempted to stop farmers from saving seed of that particular grass, claiming to have owned it, yet they came and just picked it from the farmers, and to us contravened the concession. I don't have to point out where, but it's the farmer's right to ownership and to use of indigenous variety as stated in the concession. So that's one thing. I don't know whether I should go through all the pieces, or I'll be talking too much before my colleague is able to say anything.
Thank you, Wanjama. I think we can have Tamba come in, because you've really given us the instances with clear example on what is happening in Baringo, on what has happened in Baringo. I believe that is a story that we are all interested in and we want to know more about. So if we get time, we'll get back to you. If you don't have time for that discussion, I believe some of us will come to you to understand, to get more clarity on that story. But before we move to the next, I would like Bwana Tamba, you've heard from Wanjama on the fact that he believes that the Seed and Plant Variety Act criminalizes the sharing of the seeds, and does not enable our farmers and actors in the food systems. You said your position is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Tell us why you believe it does not criminalize, and give us examples of how it has enabled the farmers or actors in the food systems.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. That was a very nice lecture from my friend Wanjama. I would not agree that he has explained with clear facts, but this is for the audience to also determine. I think this is part of the exercise that we are doing here. The buffalo grass story, for example, is told in different forms. The best person who can tell the buffalo grass story is people that work at Kefis and people that work at Karl Rokiboko that deal with rangeland grasses. I have heard that story with a completely different twist to what Bwana Wanjama has presented, but I think I will avoid to go into those details because I think that is where I will be stuck. Now, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 under Article 11 explains culture as an integral part of what is defined as the Republic. And culture is defined clearly in that Constitution as a strong foundation of what is our country, what is our Republic, the Republic of Kenya. And the Constitution goes further under subsection 3B of Article 11 of the Constitution to actually explicitly instruct the Parliament to recognize, to provide legislation that recognizes and protects the rights of farmers to own seeds. That, first and foremost, is an important thing to note. The Constitution is more supreme than any other law in this country. So the fact that the Parliament has not yet moved to actually develop that legislation does not mean that, that the constitutional provision is now null and void. It is not a question of whether the Constitution recognizes farmers as the owners, communities as the owners of seeds. It is a question of only when, okay? Because the Constitution clearly directs. In fact, it uses the word shall. It says the Parliament shall enact legislation, not may. So I think for me, if someone argues that the current legal framework does not allow farmers to own, share, sell, and exchange seeds, that will be a lie, because the Constitution itself, under Article 11.3b, provides that clearly for farmers. The second thing, I think in this debate, and I think you have heard also from Wanjama today, he says that people just wake up and go and pick seeds and register them. That is not true. The process of registering seeds in this country, as again established by the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, which was first enacted in 1972 and recently updated, the last update was 2016, that act provides for a very rigorous process. You start with something called the DUS, which you have to prove distinctiveness of the seed that you want to register, you have to prove its uniformity, and you have to prove its stability. This is not to prevent farmers from registering what they are growing, in my opinion. And I think we can go into details about what the law is for, because it is also not true to say that the law locks out farmers from participating in the seed market. The law protects, actually, the seeds that are held by farmers, by communities, from being unfairly used commercially by putting forward a very strict process of registering what would be considered as a variety. A variety is not anything that you find green growing out there. A variety is a specific plant with very unique characteristics that are distinguishable from anything that can be found being grown out there. So that, the interpretation of the DOS system as a hindrance to farmers is, in my view, misplaced. Why? Because it is that process that makes sure that me, as a Tamba, however much money I have, I can never go to Gilgil and pick beans from a farmer and go and register, because I will have to prove what is unique about that variety that I intend to register for commercialization. So it actually protects the farmers. And you go through DUS, you go through national performance trials, you go through compliance certification for you to be allowed to register a variety. Registration of varieties and maintenance of varieties is not an evil thing. By the way, if I just shock you with some numbers, there are over 400 registered maize varieties in Kenya as per the KEFI's variety list as at last year. Out of those 400 varieties, about 280 of these varieties are actually registered by CALRO, registered and owned by CALRO and Kenya Seed Company. Kenya Seed Company is 50%, more than 50% owned. Of course, there was a process of trying to privatize it, but as at this time, this is a company that is owned by the government of Kenya by majority shareholding. CALRO is the national research institution. So if CALRO is registering varieties and maintaining them, is it doing it against the farmers or is it doing it for them? If you look at other crops, for example, just to give you an idea, finger millet, all the varieties that are registered today of finger millet, 80% of them are either registered by CALRO or by Egerton University. Is Egerton University from the UK or is it our own university here? If you look at pigeon pea, there are 15 registered varieties of pigeon pea to date. Out of those 15 registered varieties, Egerton and CALRO lead by owning 13 out of 15 of those varieties. So when we talk about the seed market and you talk about variety, this law is there, in my opinion, to safeguard the farmers, one, from preventing malicious people from taking seeds that have been kept by communities over time and commercializing them unfairly. Number two, it is there to protect the farmers from, again, unscrupulous business people that sell counterfeit seeds that do not only cost farmers the money they pay for the seed, but they cost them the productivity that they would have realized if they were sold genuine seed. There is no farmer that can say that I completely detest commercial seeds, I only use indigenous seeds. For farmers, it is always a rational choice. If I want to grow something that I know for sure this is a tomato variety that I want to grow, I'll go to the market. I am a farmer, I need to be protected at the market. So this law is actually there to protect farmers, to protect all of us, and not to affect our seed system. That is my view.
Thank you very much, Atamba. You've actually seen that, as opposed to what Mr. Wanjama has said, that the Seed and Plant Variety Act is not aligned to the Constitution. According to Atamba, the GIZ actually protects the farmers. And actually, I think you've said protects farmers, if not less than 3 times. Yes. But I'll give you a chance, if you want to say something before I go to the audience, if you want to react to anything that Atamba said, and then I give the audience an opportunity to also contribute.
Thank you. Let me start from where Atamba has stopped. On the issue of national varieties register. So I don't know whether everyone knows that it is illegal to sell seed, exchange, or even share any seed that is not on the national variety register. Like you have to register your seed to get certification, and then you are able to share. And the process of registration of the seed is what Atamba is mentioning, the issue to do with DUS. And DUS is a very difficult process that, for instance, if you are talking about registering one bean variety like this, you'll have to fill a 40-page document describing the bean. You don't expect farmers to have a botanical, technical capacity of that level. So, and also, when you are registering, you have to spend a lot of money. Like we saw in one instance, you have to spend like 1 million shillings to register just one variety of maize. And where we are saying we have a problem, we have no problem with that. We are saying we have a problem where this process of registration does not protect farmers' varieties. And again, it is not even useful, or there is no difference between when private sector has registered or public institution, because public institution like universities and CARO, when they register, the result of the registration process is the same. They have intellectual property right, and they can be able to sign MOU with private sector and give the private sector exclusive rights to be able to exploit that particular variety. Exclusive rights means, let me finish. Yeah, don't worry, you will have your time to talk. So, exclusive rights means the farmers who are originally the source of those varieties might not be able to access it, and therefore, the information I have is coming from many years of practice and interaction with these seeds issues and universities. Like now, we have a big effort today to try and get some of the varieties that you have mentioned in the hands of farmers. They were registered many years back by CAR, by universities, but the process of getting them to the farmers is a commercial process that only come into place if a company shows interest to multiply and sell. So if no company shows interest in those varieties, they remain on the shelf forever, yet they were extracted from the public. And also for me, this is the issue of, again, as guaranteed by the Constitution, of right to food. Because Kenyan farmers use like 80% of the seed to grow their food, the seed that come from farmers themselves. They are not commercial seeds, 80%. They're coming from the farmers market, they're coming from neighbors, they're coming from seed saving, yet saying that it is illegal for seeds that are not registered to be exchanged, to be shared, is in some way stopping farmers or stopping Kenyan community from exercising their right to food, because they have no access to seed, the seed that they need to grow food. And just to maybe to a final comment, which I don't want to talk too much, but a final comment. Seated here, I see one of the farmer who is part of the petition of the case that is in court against the Seed and Plant Varieties Act. And when this petition was submitted to court, the first examination that is done is to see whether there is any merit in terms of what is being submitted. And once the courts conclude that there could be issue here that need to be sorted, is when the case allowed to proceed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can see you really want to get in, so 2 minutes, please.
Yeah, I will take one. I think it is not true to say that the Seed and Plant Varieties Act stops farmers from using the seeds that they have in their hands. I am also a farmer myself, and Mr. Wanjama here knows. There is nothing that stops me as a farmer from bringing you pumpkin seeds from my farm. There is nothing that stops me from bringing you a kilo of beans that are doing very well on my farm. And farmers have, and until today, if you go to any big food market today, they sell food and they sell seed. I want to be personal, but I know if there's one person I respect in this space, it's Mr. Wanjama. He has even advanced and moved to a point where he has created an public online platform for farmer exchange, which is really something that I applaud Seed Savers of doing. He has never been arrested. This guy does not even know where the police station is. No one has ever arrested him for having building a whole seed bank at Gilgil. Those of you who have gone there, you know, he even keeps some seeds in the fridge. Now, I think for me, the question that we should really ask, at what point does the Seed and Plant Varieties Act criminalize the sharing of seed? It does not. In fact, let me say, when you read the Seed and Plant Varieties Act under the specific provisions for allocation of breeders' rights, if you read Part 1E of that, it actually provides for a leeway for farmers to use. Let's say if a farmer bought maize hybrid 614 from Kenya Seed. The law, the Seed and Plant Varieties Act that they say criminalizes, under the allocation of breeders' rights, under 1E actually says that a farmer can be allowed to reuse what they have harvested from what they bought from a protected variety. okay? But in their own farms. Are we together? That is in our allocation of breeders' rights. And I think, when we read the law as a whole, you really clearly see the Seed and Plant Varieties Act only regulates commercial seed production, commercial seed field production, seed crop production. It regulates commercial seed processing, and it does not. In fact, the only time the Seed and Plant Varieties Act mentions a farmer is when they actually enforce that even though you as a breeder, you might have the breeder's right to hybrid 614, that is Kenya Seed and, for example, maybe Calro that have the rights to that, that a farmer, as a farmer, when I buy it, I am allowed by law to replant that. You cannot come and arrest me.
Thank you, Atamba. And I would like to also hear from the audience. Before you carry your hands, please, by a show of hands, how many of you have read the Seed and Plant Variety Act in full? How many? So I have 3 people. But even if you haven't read it, maybe you've read parts of it. So we see that there's also a problem of us not being able to read. We're not reading the act on our own. But even if you've not read the whole of it, maybe you've read parts of it or you had parts of it. What really stood out for you when you read or went through the Seed and Plant Variety Act, and how has it influenced negatively or positively the work that you're doing? I have Lydia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who is going to help me with the mic?
Thank you, Sally. My name is Lydia Kimani, and I'm with Agribusiness for African Markets. We champion competitiveness for women and youth-led enterprises. What stood out for me in the Seed and Plant Varieties Act is the protection of breeders' rights. And like the panelists have very well said, it goes back to 1972. But when you look at our context, that was post-colonial Kenya, and you need to ask yourself, how many post-colonial Kenya farmers were able to understand the provisions of this act? Fast forward to 1995, Kenya joins the World Trade Organization. As part of the accession to the WTO, you have to sign the trade in goods, the trade in services, and trade-related intellectual property rights. So the Seed and Plant Varieties Act finds its provisions in the TRIPS, that's the Trade-Related Intellectual Property Rights. And that has the most current version of the UPOV treaty that governs the aspects of Seed and Plant Varieties Act. So you find that if you sign into that treaty, you become a member of the WTO. By extension, you are required to be a signatory to that treaty. Our constitution in Article 2 says that all international treaties by default become laws of Kenya. So that also now, I think that is something that Atamba had mentioned, that because the UPOV treaty forms part of the laws of Kenya, then the domestication of the Seed and Plant Varieties Act then by extension becomes part of the laws of Kenya. Again, when you look at the organization of our farmers, you are to ask yourself, to what extent do our farmers, looking at the literacy levels and the kind of technicalities that go into understanding the provisions of the Act, how many of them have we taken time to break down the law in their language for them to understand, to make full, prior, and informed consent as we endorse this law to form part of our laws and support development of agriculture in the country? How has it affected our work? So you find that in the aspects of like horticulture, it has really progressed the development of the export sector, because the breeders of the roses, for instance, get royalties on their seeds. While that was the essence of the law, you find that on the domestic front, especially on food crops, that a lot of times women are engaged in, they are not aware that developing or becoming breeders or protecting their varieties also affords them the opportunity to get royalties for their seeds. So we find that there is a very big gap in terms of awareness and the provisions. And by extension now, as we go into the agroecology conversation, how do we ensure that, for example, the seed the seed system from an agroecology perspective, that people understand there are these provisions and you can actually make additional income by selling your proprietary seeds to the market. Thank you. I submit.
Thank you. Clearly. Thank you. So we see there's lack of awareness and there's a role for all of us there. Yeah.
Okay, myself, what I take when I read CAP 326, Crops Act, I see a cartel somewhere pretending that they are helping farmers. I'm one of those farmers who went to court to challenge that case, and the case found merit on that case, and we gave our evidence. We are waiting for judgment. And one question is, if you say that you are helping farmers with that law, that the law is helping farmers, who asked you to help us? We did not ask. There was no public participation. That's what I mean. There was no public participation. So that farmers came and said, make a law which protect us. So long as CAP 326 is existing, I will never own my seed. That is because owning my seed means planting and eating, selling, and that's where the key is. I'm not allowed to sell my seed, and they go further and say that I cannot even exchange or gift. We take CAP 326 as a foreign, it is as a result of foreign pressure. It is not from Kenyans. And when we talk about DUS, like now myself in my seed bank, which the Constitution, I'm not guaranteeing to keep my seed bank by Crops Act. It is the Constitution. And saying that no farmer has not been arrested is because they know the Constitution does not allow them to arrest me, otherwise they can do that. But what we are saying is, there are sins which cannot withstand the DUS. They keep on changing. It will never be stable. It will never be uniform. What are we going to do with it if we are trying to conserve sins? Does this means that if the sin does not withstand or bypass the DUS test, it should be discarded. It is illegal to have it. It is illegal to exchange. It is illegal to change. They have talked about protecting of farmers' sins. They are talking about the process the seed undergoes, whereby we know we have managu. All managu, it is patented, and nothing was done to it. Someone went, described managu, our own managu, and now it is patented. The same case applies to pumpkins. It belongs to Chogoria University. They have patented it. They have been given the light. Leave that alone. The Crops Act says that if you are given patented light, it should remain about, you should be protected for 20 years. From there, you give the seeds to the farmers to use, because now your protection light has gone. We have a bean called Mwitemania. Even the name Mwitemania came from our local village called Makongo in Nakuru. It is those old people who named that bean that way. And it was patented by Carlo, 1982. It is over 20 years. Yet, we cannot sell it. If it belongs to us, can we pack and sell? So, that one should be clarified. So, we don't take, so long as CAP 326 is there, farmers will always be drawn with a djembe and tatas. There's no way we will get money. We won't own things if CAP 326 is the way it is. So our savior will only be the court.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. There are two more people. Please take 1 minute so that the other two people can also speak.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be very short and brief. Thank you, moderator, for the question. I mean, you posed about what do you think, or what do you take from the act? Two things. One, Mr. Tamba, with all due respect, did mention about the availability of seeds in the open market. I think the law does not recognize those as seeds. What is available at the local markets are actually termed as grains, but that is actually what farmers are using. Yeah, and unless I mean, when you pack them, you can't call them seed unless they undergo the process. Two, what stands out is the process of the registration. When you talk about the dues, distinct, uniform, and same, it discriminates farmers' practice of selection. That, for example, we have many varieties of maize, like over what we are saving, for example, as an organization that is also linked to, working together with seed savers on seed issues. The process of of selection that farmers practice is coming out of their experience, out of their traditions, and the dues discriminates against diversity. That, for example, bees do not have borders because they do the pollination, and they enrich the genotype of the varieties that we have. But when you say dues, and we know the process of hybridization will have a certain line and promote that line. So that is actually science discriminating what nature provides. And so that is what stands out as not being good for the farmers, and not good for nature, not good for diversity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The lady there and then here.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm Wanjiro Kamau, a member of the Policy and Law platform in ISFA, and also an agroecology specialist. Now, one of the things I'm picking up from the discussion is that we need to have consensus as people who are working in the area of seed, particularly CSOs, so that we can also support our stakeholders. The minute we also don't seem to agree, we need to agree so that we can also support our stakeholders to move on the way forward as CSOs. Number two, I wanted to know from Wanjama, with your experience around seed systems, whether globally there is a country where both the farmer-managed seed systems and the conventional seed systems are supported by law. We've heard of India, we've heard of Ethiopia, but I'd like to hear from you, from your extensive experience. My submission on dues, and I think Bona Ferdinand talked about it well, is that dues is a myth. In terms of our farmer-managed seed systems, we are never going to have distinct, uniform, and stable maize if we are promoting farmer-managed seed systems. The variety is the appeal. And therefore, I'm wondering, now that we heard in the morning from the policy presentation, that the seed policy is under review, and I have happened to have interacted with the seed policy, and I think farmer-managed seed systems have only got about a paragraph in that seed policy. What are we doing as stakeholders to engage in the current review of the seed policy to make sure that the next one that comes out favorably considers farmer-managed seed systems? Thank you.
Thank you, Wanjiro. There's the final comment. Okay, give Dr. Olembo. Sorry, I cannot go against Dr. Olembo.
Yes, please, I appreciate. And thank you very much for the two discussants. I believe that we should have given ourselves an opportunity to define the two systems of the seeds that we are talking about. Because when we look at the various definitions, the definition noted, they cannot be various. There are only two definitions of farm-managed seed systems and the breeders' varieties, which are subject themselves to the distinct stability and uniformity criteria that our friend has so ably defined. And so, if I may just read here, the farm-managed seed systems are community seeds, where farmers save, select, exchange, and improve seed over generations. The breeder seeds produced by trained plant breeders under controlled conditions, the foundations of formal seed certification is recognized there. So here the farmers are doing what they know and which derives from nature. And so they are not confined to any rules, neither do they develop their seeds in the laboratories. Their seeds are derived from the field, where nature does the work of refining the seed and give, setting them in the space in which the farmers want to use. When you look at the criteria also for the farmers managed seed systems, you'll find that in the farm managed systems, genetic diversity is there's a key factor there. Then they have got multipurpose use, they have got cultural values, they are context-specific traits, and also you have dynamic seed saving schemes. But when you go to the distinct, uniform, and stable systems, it doesn't account for multifunctionality. A seed is bred for a particular function, and it's just that. It's not considered informal breeding, and the DUS tests in centralized standard stations, DUS requires stability, which restricts adaptation. So if we are going to look at those two, we know that our farmers' selections are dynamic and they are pluralistic. They respond to changing environments, including social and economic needs. So we cannot just fit them, force them to fit into this one system, which confines them and restricts the farmers' ability to use them. But the DUS systems excludes many valuable farmer varieties that do not meet formal breeder standards. And that is why they are ignored, because they cannot conform to the way that these people do their work. So the whole idea is that this creates regulatory barriers that we discussed this morning for the recognition, registration, and distribution of the indigenous and farmer-bred seeds. So alternative systems that we suggested this morning that now bring the farmer seeds into quality declared seeds through PGS. That is what we feel that can then bring the quality and the attributes that we want into this particular system of MSSs. So what we are saying is that the policy reforms, because like now when you are looking at UPO of 91, this is the one that has really damaged the farmers completely. Because it is very, very restrictive, and it is the one that is punitive, and the breeders come together and insist that if the farmers package or sell seeds or share seeds, then they are criminalized. But the seeds that these farmers are dealing with are their own varieties. They are not touching those ones of the breeders. So where the criminalization comes in is what we want to understand. Where does it come in? Because it's just limiting the production, the extent to which we can be able to do our agroecology, and they want to restrict ability for our food security. So the policy reforms should recognize and protect farmers' rights to select, to save, to improve, and share seed as per the FAO treaty. The plant treaty is there. Even if they have UPOV, we have the plant treaty Article 9 and the UN drops Article 19. I hope I have been clear. If anybody has not understood this grammar, UPOV is the one that is making things very difficult for any country that is subscribed, and as we were told, since 1995 when we signed to the WTO, that is when we got ourselves into trouble. But if you see Ethiopia and other countries that are not in WTO, they are free. Uganda is also one example. They are free.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The final one, please, 1 minute, please, so that we can finalize in good time.
Okay, thank you. I think I would like to start by defining the term sale as it is written in the, I'm Tabi Munyeri from Seed Savers Network, as it is written in the Seed and Plant Varieties Act. The term sell is, well, it is written, it includes barter, exchange, and offering or exposing for sale. We are planning a seed fair where farmers might sell, because sell is barter, exchange, and offering or exposing for sale. And then under section 2, it says, it's not supposed to be prohibits the selling of seeds which may not be certified in the prescribed manner, which is the form in which the farmer managed seeds take. They are not certified, and therefore they are prohibited to be sold. I think I have described what the Seed and Plant Varieties Act regards as sale. So after understanding the terms, then we go into the operationalization of the Act. Just because the Act is not being operationalized, because there is even a penalty that is written or that is there in the Seed and Plant Varieties Act for someone who is found to be selling uncertified seed. So just because it is not that they will be arrested and they are supposed to like pay 1 million or stay in prison, when we say that because it is not being operationalized, then that means that there is no problem. Does that mean that if you have a hole in your home and your child has not yet fallen into it, that means that the hole should stay there?
Thank you very much. Those are interesting and great input. There's issue of the treaties that we have, the terminologies and interpretation of the terminologies, and the implementation of the legislations that we have. There's concern from Wanjiru on the CSOs not being aligned. We need to work together and have the same force to work with the farmers and for the planet and the people. But if we are not speaking the same language, then that becomes difficult. There's the issue of the DUS that everyone, most of the speakers have spoken about, have commented on. And I think this is a good time to think about, come back to our debaters and ask them, what do you think of the perspectives that are coming from the audience? And do you think the Seed Act need to be improved? If yes, how? If no, what needs to be done? We start with you, Atamba.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the points that have come from the floor. I personally, by the way, I have really a lot of regard, and I've personally had a lot of initiatives on farm-managed seed systems. I think someone mentioned the Indigenous Seed and Food Fair. I actually developed the first concept for Indigenous Seed and Food Fair and worked with BIBA and others to start to implement the first one at the National Museum of Kenya. So I am a champion for farmer-managed seed system. The only point is, there is no person who has so far mentioned the part of the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, and Bwanangujiri is also saying Crops Act, so I don't know which one you have taken to court, that actually criminalizes farmers' sharing of seed. So, my friend, you have defined sale as is written in the Seed and Plant Varieties Act. I do not understand how you take that definition, or how we would take that definition to actually put the burden on farmers that they are the ones who are being addressed by the law when the law defines sale. Butter, when you talk about butter, even Elon Musk, those who know about Elon Musk, the way he bought Twitter was through butter. He did not pay money to buy Twitter. He gave shares of his other company, and then those shares offsetted the money that he needed to pay for Twitter. So butter is not a thing for smallholder farmers to do butter trade. Anyone can do butter trade. So when the law defines sale as it to include butter trade, it does not now mean that we are looking at those people in the village who are exchanging. So I think the most important things would really, for me, be to move to a discussion where we can really go into the specifics. I also want to note that a lot of people are mentioning patents. The Seed and Plant Varieties Act does not assign patents. It assigns breeders' rights. There are no patents assigned to breeders. There are no royalties gained by breeders. There are no, what is the other term that is used? Intellectual property rights. What is assigned is called in law breeders' rights. This is different from patents. If we want to continue with the narrative, for me the danger that I see, and this is why I'm concerned about it, and that's why I keep talking about the fact that I think we're missing the point. Yes, we have a problem. I agree with Wanjama. What Seed Savers is doing is very important. And like building community seed banks, engaging farmers to do seed exchange is very important. No one has stopped that. No one can ever stop that. There is no legal provision for that. I think we need to agree on the issue. The issue is, if we want to really enhance, as Dr. Olembo said, the policy, or I think whoever said the policy provisions for farmer-managed seed system, we need to champion for investments to farmer-managed seed systems. We need more seed banks. We need more platforms for farmers to exchange their seeds. This is where the conversation should be. But I think as long as we want to tell ourselves, as farmers, as agroecologists, that the law is against us, we are fighting something that does not exist, in my opinion. Let me just reinforce, moderator.
30 seconds,
yes,
please.
Thank you very much. That's a lot. That farmer-managed seed systems are not in competition with commercial seeds. As a farmer myself, I need those two options. I need the option where I can stop on my way to Eldoret, where I'm going to go after this session. I need an option where I can stop at Giggle and ask Mr. Ngunjiri to give me some bean seeds and go and plant. I also need an option to have access to high quality variety of spinach from whichever country that I think will achieve my production goals for that season. Farmers are not necessarily interested in the divide between indigenous seed and commercial seed. This is something that we are pushing on farmers, but farmers know when they want pumpkin seeds, they go to their relatives. When they want tomato seeds, they go to the agrovet. For a farmer, those two seed systems coexist. So I think, for me, what we need to do is to move away from creating battles that do not exist.
Thank you.
But as I conclude, I support what Seed Savers is doing. I support investments toward farmer-managed seed systems. We should really champion that. The other day I was with Vihiga County Governor. I said, we need to invest on seed banks, and he wanted a concept note on how to build seed banks in his county. That is where the conversation should be, that we actually support what we believe, rather than fighting the devil that does not exist anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can see we are heading somewhere on what exactly we need to do. And at this point, I would like to hear from you, Wanjama. You've heard from the audience. You've heard from Mr. Tamba. What should we do? What do you think about the perspectives? What should we do? Do we have a way forward as the CSOs and the actors in food systems?
Thank you. And thank you, Atamba, because I know you are a great seed saver, and I know you have a passion to save seeds. You are even talking about building your community seed bank, your own seed bank, not community seed bank, and we're happy to work together. I know, I think last year, you came to our seed bank, we gave you some seeds, but you know, let me tell you, if these laws were to be implemented properly, you'll now be serving your second year in jail for taking those seeds. And all Kenyans will be in jail because they always use seeds that are not certified. And it's illegal, as you have seen the definition of what they're selling. Exchange is also barter. Exchange is also barter. So, and exchanging is defined as selling, and selling is illegal, and therefore exchange and sharing is illegal. But I think, as you know, hearing from everyone who is here is like everyone, including Atamba, knows that we have a problem. And for example, someone here has mentioned that these laws came from UPOV, so they are for the international laws. But surprisingly, I went to attend a heirloom seed fair in US last year, in November. And this seed fair was to show commercial seeds that are not certified, that are not registered. You just pack and sell. And you can imagine that these laws are likely to have come from global north. They are not coming from ourselves. As mentioned by Francis, we did not ask for it. They came from them, but yet they are not doing things like that in their own countries. It's very surprising. I was very surprised. The company that paid for my ticket, because I don't pay for myself, the company that paid for my ticket is trading on seeds that are not certified, they are not registered, and they are making huge money. So what companies are afraid of here is competing with the farmers in the market. And we need to be aware of that, because these are not our laws, they are coming from somewhere else, and it's just to avoid competition. And you know, European Union is also, they have gone a step further. they have reduced what they ask for, variety registration. They are not doing the US, especially for vegetables. They are doing only 10 characteristics, and then you can register your variety. All these conversations are up there, and I'm saying that because what Wanjiru mentioned. I have had interaction with the people who are doing it in different ways. And I also have a lot of hope in Kenya. Everyone here is speaking like a lawyer, and people are like very much aware what we are supposed to do, what is the content of the law. And I'm happy that our own authorities, the Ministry of Agriculture, has also realized this problem. They have actually initiated several processes to conduct reforms in the laws. I know soon we shall be invited for that conversation to see how the laws can be changed, because no one like it when we are losing our biodiversity, when our farmers cannot access seeds, when we are losing traditional resilient varieties, when we have climate change. No one like it. It's not good for the country, and therefore I believe we are serving the same cause, all of us, and we shall continue working with Atamba, even as we don't agree on the law. We are agreeing on the process of making sure that farmers can access seeds, they can conserve our biodiversity, and any process, any policy that can support the Kenyan people to do that, I know Atamba will also support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I can see we are ready to close it up, but before we do that, I just want everyone, and I'll start with you, Bwana Tamba, and then you, because there might be instances of misinformation. So for us to just know which, are there instances of misinformation, and what exactly should we do to ensure that there's no misinformation in food systems especially, and what are you going to do to reduce or undo the misinformation that could be there? In 2 minutes, please. You say that is a lot and you take 5. 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'll take 3. So, yeah, I mean, debates like this attract all our attention. You know, when you see something posted online about farmers being jailed, and Bwana Ngujiri is really complaining that he has been jailed a few times, you really become aware of this issue and you want to talk about it. This is not the only debate that is happening. We have had last year, there was a lot of debate about food and feed safety bill. There was a lot of debate about vaccines. I don't know how many cows have died so far. But just to highlight that food system issues attract all our attention, and sometimes they attract attention and it moves in the negative direction. For me, I think what I've always taken personally as a responsibility as a professional in this space is to always make sure that I go through the information. I might not have read all the bill word by word, but I can assure you, for me, for example, as a practice, is to always read all these amendments that are coming, if it is the Pest Control Products Act, if it is the CAP 326, if it is the Crops Act that is being amended, because then it helps you as an expert to have a formed opinion. Let us not trust people because they look like us. Let us not trust people because they are in the same side as us. Let us not trust information that we get just by looking at it and saying, I like seed savers. So I think what Wanjama is saying is what I will also say to someone else. I think dealing with misinformation in food systems is important because, remember, if we got something right, I'm not saying that this debate we have gotten it wrong because Wanjama is still my friend. If we get a debate like this one wrong, and we are fighting the wrong thing, and we are spending energy and resources, just assume for a moment that we are wrong, yeah? That the court case is not important, that the problem is not there. Then what are we exactly doing in terms of advancing our cause? Then we are actually moving backwards instead of forward. So I think addressing misinformation in food system is our responsibility. We have WhatsApp groups where a lot of links are thrown in those WhatsApp groups. Let's not just say because it's a daktari who has thrown the link, it is correct. I think it's important that we take responsibility as proactive food system transformation champions to always advance the right information, regardless of how you feel about the topic.
Thank you. Mr. Wanjama, the misinformation in the food systems, what should be done and how it impacts the farmers?
Thank you. Thank you for this for the time that we have spent here talking about this issue of misinformation. Because to me, the greatest misinformation is what is used to sell some policies, some acts, like we are complaining about, that is going to improve food security, is going to do what, is going to make us richer, and then after some time we realize it's doing the opposite. Who is getting richer? Someone else, of course. So this is some of the greatest misinformation. I hate chemicals, but some of the information that come from the media, chemical advertisement, fertilizer advertisement, every day in the morning, repeated 5 times per day, until if you hate it, you start singing it, yeah, without knowing, because it is so much in your head, it's not going away, because of how many times this misinformation, especially propagated by the corporate world, that they are solving our problem, they are addressing our problem. And I think for us, what we need to do is engage our institutions to tell us the truth on, because even as a country, we have so many institutions that are set to address various topical issues. But I'm also afraid on that front again, because even some of the institutions, like for instance, these issues to do with GMO, how wonderful they are, what they are doing well in other places, but when you dig deeper, you realize the data that we have consumed here is different from the data that is known elsewhere. Therefore, for me, it's a whole confusion, but it is very important that we have freedom to information, freedom to ask questions, freedom to talk ourselves, and that freedom might give us some truth. So protecting freedoms is much more important than information itself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're talking about the need to protect our freedom. And ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the debate. I'm so sorry I will not be able to come back to you. I really wanted to, but we do not have the time. It's been 20 minutes since I was told we don't have any more minutes for this. Thank you. The intention was to engage, reflect, and leave here better informed. I believe we have engaged, we've reflected, and we are leaving here better informed. We have not agreed on everything on the interpretation of the law, so as long as sometimes we might differ on that, but at least we have agreed on some few things, and one of them is that we need policies that are farmer-centered. We need better infrastructures for farmer-managed seed systems, and we need to work together as actors. So the next thing that we need to do is now work on the how. How do we ensure that is done, and how do we ensure that all the laws that we have are actually farmer-centered? And on the misinformation, it's a call on all of us to think about where we get our information from, and the risk that that can really cause on the food systems, and for each and every one of us to ensure that we work collectively towards a food systems that is built on trust and justice. As we talk about justice, let's also think about trust. And trust comes where we do not also spread the misinformation. Thank you very much. That's the end of it. Thank you.
This session. I don't know if we have the presentation queued for Esther Kagai, as will be. Yeah, so the parallel session today is on agroecological practice for climate resilience, soil health, and nutrition security. We have 6 presentations, so many in so little time, but I will ask the panelists, or rather the presenters, if you could kindly do each of your presentations in 5 minutes. Is it okay? You will try. Please do. This is the main auditorium, and I know we want to close the event, so, but I'm pretty sure we'll do our best, and also we want the audience to ask a few questions, okay? So we'll start with Esther. Is that her presentation? That's the presentation? Okay, so karibisha Nesta na makofi. Please, please, please. I know we are tired. Maybe lunch bado haijashuka kabisa. No, let's do better. Tupige makofi vizuri. Karibu Esther. I think so. Is the mic?
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Esther Kagai. I work for Sisha Kenya. We are based in Kiserian and also in Kajiado. Kiserian, Kajiado County, and also in Maria, Kiambu County. I work for Sisha Kenya. So I'll be presenting this presentation to show how a farmer.
Use this.
This
one is live. This one is live.
To bring a picture of a farmer as a researcher. So I request the one who is moving the slides to move. I've been told to use only 1 or 2 minutes in one slide, but I can take even one. It's okay. So when we are talking about agroecology, you all know that the approaches used by the agroecology is holistic. They are all round, economically, culturally, and even socially. They are all, the whole system is a whole system. So why it matters to us, why agroecology matters to us is because of the shocks of climate change. You know, things to do with the extreme weather. Sometimes it's too dry, sometimes it's too hot, wet. So we end up having very many things that comes with climate change. We also have poor soils. Yesterday there was a discussion about the soils. We have degraded our soils completely. So soil fertility is also, it matters in agroecology, and also the food and nutrition insecurity is rising. And why is it rising? It's not that we don't have food. It's because of the choices of food that we are taking, and especially when we get to the middle class level. I don't know why it becomes like, if you can afford food, you can just eat anything as long as you can afford it. If you're in the lower class, like if you're a poor person, even if you get gouache, that is what you can get. You eat it without knowing that food is there, is most nutritious than the person who goes to for chips or something else like burgers. So yeah, small scale farmers, they are rising to the challenges that are facing the agroecology, and through my presentation you will see how the farmers are rising as researchers. Next. So as we talk about this modern farmer, contemporary farmer, yesterday we saw many farmers here. I can assure you, those farmers are co-creators of knowledge. They have a lot of knowledge. When you go to the field, they have a lot of things that they do. And sometimes they don't even know whether the things they do are very, very important, but they end up having a lot of knowledge. They know the local environment through observation, through the wisdom, and sometimes they can actually tell you this seed will work here or it will not work. By July we'll have vegetables flooded in the market, or there will be no vegetable. They know, they have the local knowledge about the area that they live. The other thing is that the contemporary farmer is geared towards sustainability. All farmers who are in agroecology, you bear me witness, they want to have continuous food production. And so they